It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
Happy 4th of July. Thanks for listening to the Best of the KQ Morning Show podcast, sponsored by Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies. We'll be back with fresh episodes on Monday, July 8th.
The Best of the KQ Morning Show.
The longest I ever spent in that situation, not with like diarrhea or food poisoning, but I once also had to take care of business, and it took the better part of an hour. And during that time, I really was, I felt oddly in touch with my digestive system. I was aware of all the bodily functions, and it took, as I said, I was like, man, I think I've been in here an hour, and it was a really bizarre and very involved bowel movement.
It was a sad
I was high as a kite on LSD, and when I finished, I walked out, and it had been like 90 seconds.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
True story. I was literally in there, like I could feel every cell of I knew how my digestion worked. I felt all my organs doing their part.
Yeah.
I was in touch with my own system in a way I'd never experienced, and it was like a really life-affirming moment. And then when I finally came out of there, I was like, oh, it's not even been 2 minutes. Oh, okay.
I want to do it again. I'm getting some tacos.
Right. I don't think I've ever taken a dump on.
Yeah, well, I did
acid.
it once. Wouldn't do it again. Trust me.
No?
It was way too. I was like, no, this can't be happening. It is happening. Oh no. And then it's a weird one.
Do you apologize to everyone for bogarting the bathroom?
No, I had gone into it was in a hotel. At least I was in France. I had that going for me. I was in Paris.
Did you
and
visualize the process?
They had a bidet.
No bidet. Well, I didn't use it if they did. That
would have been really freaky.
By the time I allowed myself to leave, I was in a rush. I was like, I got to get out of here. And that carried over to the next day. The next day was the only time I ever played a gig. I was in the acid hangover period where I was like still kind of tripping just a little. And then the first song of the night, I was like, God, this song is so long. And I'm playing it, and it was just completely, 3.5 minutes. But like somewhere during the second verse, I was like, are we still playing this song? And I'm like, everyone's going to know I don't know what's happening. But the first song, it like wore off. All of a sudden, I was back, and I was like, whew, Lord. And I was like, no one's looking at me funny. Right. I really thought it was a song called One Mirror Too Many. And I remember thinking, this is taking so long.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know we ever extended this one like this. It was just straight up.
Time slows down for you on acid.
Real slow. Slow. Wouldn't recommend it for a gig anyway.
No.
Or a dump.
Maybe maybe binge watching a series or something like that. I was going to say, safely on the couch.
Got a rope hammock and a case of beer? Give me some acid. Right. Otherwise, no.
What if you morphed the two experiences while you were playing drums? You slowly pulled your pants down and started the process.
I'm like, you know what? Honestly, that's like a 20, almost a 30-year retroactive anxiety attack you're giving me. Wow, that's from the spring of what year was that? 97.
You talked about some bad mayo and having a tough show after some bad mayonnaise.
That was a whole different story. I'll take the acid any day over bad mayo.
At least sure. I mean, I don't know. Would it be worse to be sitting down because then your body's like, oh, okay, we got some business to do here, so it would be a constant clench for the whole show, or up moving around, out in front of the stage. Hard. We can only hypothesize.
Well, I can tell you this. When I got food poisoning in Argentina, I had to get on stage, and that was not one but two Imodium was required. And that was actually more painful, but less nasty, because I was able to dam that river, but boy, I paid a price with cramps on that one.
The Best of the KQ Morning Show.
If you, like Tony Lee, woke up just hung over as hell today.
Don't you judge me.
No judgment, Tony. No judgment at all. I'm amazed you made it in.
I think he's still drunk. Yeah, clearly.
I could have been sheriff at one point. You don't know me.
He smacked me on the ass this morning.
Where's Foster Brooks of the KQ Morning Show.
Saltines for the house.
Saltines?
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
By the way,
now he's getting angry.
You know what? The greatest really drunk line of all time is, what's wrong with that? That's because we've all said things like, what's the big deal? What's wrong with that?
What? Did I say something? Oh, okay.
That's not hurting anybody. It's a free country.
Now you're going to get mad. Okay. I'm just trying to have fun. Just can't have fun anymore.
I love it.
No.
Avoiding hangovers is a worthy pursuit. Let's not kid ourselves. And a far more important pursuit with every passing year for all of us. A few things that I'm reading. There's cures, there's fix-its, there's all sorts of things. Some of which there's old wives' tales, and then there's some things that actually apparently are true.
Yeah, okay.
Hair of the dog.
Boom. Brian Zepp's cure.
That's it. Have another drink when you wake up. It does seem to make you feel a little better. But, Brian, here's the rub. Only for a little while.
Well, no, you just got to keep it going.
Oh, you just just get back on the horse.
Then you ease out of it. Okay, so I woke up with a hangover after the pub crawl. It was about 10:30 p.m. That night because I went home and ordered Devani's cheeseburger pizza. Highly recommend it. Pounded about half of that. Fell asleep in bed with my clothes on. Woke up at 10:30 p.m. and my head was hurting. And, I cracked a beer.
Did the job?
Did the job. Got right back into a nice little buzz. But you're right. It does... I mean, I'm not going to sit around and suffer on a Sunday morning. I'm going to have a little something to drink.
I have hair of the dog for me only a couple times, but it's not to get up and start drinking again. It's wake up really hungover and not feeling good, and have another one just so I can fall back asleep.
Yeah,
that's the only time I've ever
to get to the headache.
Enlisted, like to.
But every once in a while, you kind of get back into the groove. You're like, now I'm feeling kind of, you know what? Hey, you guys want to come pick me up? I'm going golfing or whatever. Maybe you're just going out, for a Sunday fun day or whatever. But yeah, hair of the dog. It does come with it. It's not a cure. Mm-hmm. You're just avoiding it. You're sidestepping the hangover.
Sports drinks. Scientists do say they don't completely understand what causes hangover, but they do know that dehydration is a big part of it.
Yeah.
And they're saying if not just water, work in a Gatorade as you're going about your night drinking. Just try to stay hydrated throughout the process.
During the night? Okay.
Yeah,
as you're still drinking. Yeah. But then obviously in the morning, Gatorade. I've had many of the, I need a gallon of Gatorade right now when I wake up situations. Yeah. And I'll go for that.
I, for a long time, when I was out hitting it pretty hard, would stop at some point in the night and say, hey, just a glass of water, please, and then just chug that bad boy.
Yeah, that does help.
2 or 3 nights out of it. But the biggest thing for me was getting rid of the pop. Getting the pop out of the drinks a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Get that pop out of there. I'll take ice. I'll take it neat, whatever. Let's just drink it.
Yeah.
And I'll need the better stuff now, too. So it gets a little spendier. But that pop, I think I was convinced that sugary stuff was what gave me such horrendous hangovers.
I'll go with that. All right. I'm just gonna say, yeah, Dr. Zepp, you're onto something there. My wife will tell you, make no mistake about it, a quarter pounder with cheese and French fries is the best thing for a hangover.
Yeah.
As many people do. A lot of people swear by the greasy breakfast. Science says no. We have no reason. We can't prove it's helpful. They suggest actually things that are easier to digest, like toast or cereal. The calories get into your system faster. There's an author who wrote a book called The Doctor's Hangover Book, and he says there's no specific food that actually can cure, but a lot of people have good results with honey. Honey for a hangover.
Huh.
The worst hangover of my life, oddly enough, happened when I was 22 years old, very young. But I will never forget this, and it was the first time and last time I ever drank Jägermeister.
Oh.
Yeah. And I drank so much of it because I can't believe how good this is. There was a case of Beck's beer, and there was a bottle of Jägermeister, and maybe even more. And by the end of it, it was so weird. I had a delayed reaction hangover. Like I woke up the next morning early and felt okay, not great.
Still a little drunk, maybe.
Probably got back to sleep, and when I woke up for the second time, I then had no exaggeration, 2 full day hangover. 2 full days. All I was eating was saltine crackers.
Funny.
I just had saltine after saltine after saltine.
Every time I've had Jägermeister has been the last time I will ever drink Jäger. Yeah, one of my buddies, Good Time Johnny over there in St. Paul, got a Yag machine, bought it at a rummage sale or a bar's rummage sale, one of the Yag machines.
Oh my God.
It was a bad, bad, bad thing. It's what I imagine that, the bar rag, if you just wringed it into a glass, that's what I imagine it would. It's wow. And Fireball. Everybody's all excited about Fireball. That just gives me a hangover thinking about it.
You know, I've stuck to that. I've never had Jägermeister since. I've had Jägermeister on one occasion in my entire life.
That was it.
If I smell it, it's just like, nah. It doesn't make me sick, but it certainly still triggers the memory. I could never possibly forget that.
Yeah, I can't.
Have you ever gotten up and felt really hungover and just said, screw it, and you just jump out and go for a run or get on the bike, go for a hardcore workout?
All right. Yeah. I love, actually, you know what, skiing. Everybody knows I like to ski a lot, and I go on the ski trips with the buddies, and we party hardy, and I get up in the morning, and then no one wants to go skiing except me, man. You get me out in that cold air and then work in the lungs and get the heart beating. That works. I wish I could still do that, but I don't get, quite as hung as I used to.
I can see it. That kind of checks out to me. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and text line. We have a caller, Tony?
Our buddy David from Rosemont claims to have the best hangover cure.
Ooh.
David from Rosemont, help us all. What do you got?
All right. So when you're down and drinking and you are just hammered off your tuchus, in the morning you got to get up to use the bathroom anyway. So you take 4 Excedrin and drink yourself a bottle of water and go back to bed. Hangover gone.
All right. It's
4 Excedrin, bottle of water. That's pretty simple.
It's got to be Excedrin.
Hangover in my life.
All right.
I thought you were going to say something like hang your head over the side of the bed, swallow the pills, and drink the water with your head upside down.
I got a question for Zepp.
Yes, sir.
Uh-oh.
Dave, what's up?
Have you tried?
No, I will not make out with you. What? I'm sorry.
Have you tried the pizza on the grill yet?
Oh, no, Dave. I have not tried the dang pizza on the grill yet. In fact, I did kind of space it, but guess what? I'm going to the pizza on the grill. So you had called in with that, right? And it's just take the frozen pizza, don't thaw it or do thaw it.
Do not thaw it. You don't need to thaw it. Just put it on there, close the grill at about 350. You want to put a little bit more cheese on it. We actually cooked mozzarella sticks on there, too.
All right, I'm doing that today. I'm actually going to do that today. So just any old frozen pizza gets the job done?
Any pizza you want to put on there.
And just add a little extra matzo and maybe whatever else I want on there. Okay, Dave, thanks. That's my Tuesday plan.
Talk to you later.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you, brother.
They said we did something a couple of years ago that if you drank pear juice. Now, this was a PhD.
Pear juice?
That if you drank pear juice before you went out drinking.
Okay.
A full glass, I forget how many ounces, let's say 8 ounces of pear
Only
juice.
cost $71.
Probably. I don't even know. I was like, I remember at the time thinking, where the hell do you get pear juice? Do they sell that? Well, they do, I guess. If you drink pear juice before you go out for the night drinking, you will not be hungover. But I never got around to, much like Dave's grilling the pizza idea, which I am going to get to. I never got to the pear juice. I wonder if anyone knows of the pear juice thing before you go drinking, prevents hangovers. 651-989-ROCK. We'd love to hear from you.
Fair enough. We are hearing from someone else. Who we got, Tony?
Here's Boris's cure.
Boris, what do you got for us, brother?
Hey, man. Good morning, guys. Kind of keep it down here. I'm a little hungover. No, just kidding. Hey, I've always thought that if you have some really good watermelon or some really good juicy fruit, like sweet, it's got to be good, though. It can't be that chewy stuff. It's got to be nice and in season. And but some of the girls I've known that wake up hungover, I mean, they're the worst anyway, but popsicles always seem to help them.
Popsicles?
Anyway, I'll hang up that guy 6.
Yeah, you got it, Boris.
Yeah. A popsicle or a really good juicy fruit in season. Or not nothing chewy. None of the, what's a chewy fruit?
I don't know.
But I get what he's saying. Watermelon, it's high in water content, so you're getting the water back into your system. That's why that works. And you can consume a lot of it. That's not bad. I might keep some watermelon in the fridge for the next hangover. One
of the things they suggest not drinking is coffee because caffeine restricts your blood vessels, ups your blood pressure, and that can make you feel worse. However, if you are already a regular coffee drinker, well, then you have to drink it because caffeine withdrawal just makes everything worse. Caffeine withdrawal is a very real thing. Do you enough of a coffee drinker where if you don't have it one day, you get that headache?
Oh yeah,
that
caffeine
headache.
Yep.
That caffeine headache
Piercing.
is worse than any hangover headache I've ever had.
Piercing.
Man.
And then I can't drink caffeine and get rid of it.
No.
Yeah,
Once it starts, it doesn't work at all. There's no getting rid of it. It's just an absolute. It's a screaming advertisement that says "Stop drinking coffee," is what it is. Tony, who else we got on the phone?
Andy has another take.
Andy, good morning. Andy.
Hey.
What's up, brother? What do you got for us?
Well, listen, man, go to Canada every year, and one year my nutritionist sister-in-law sent up activated charcoal tablets with us, and we drank every night, partied hard, and didn't wake up with one hangover.
Really? I mean, do you still do that? I mean, is that a real thing?
Oh yeah.
Or do you have to be in Canada?
Or any sort of natural grocery store has activated charcoal tablets or capsules.
Okay.
They're amazing.
All right. Okay.
Take 2 before you go to bed.
Okay. Activated charcoal tablets.
Man, first I've ever heard of it. That's pretty good. I know that when Chauncey Gorman overdosed on his sister dog Zelda's pain pills, true story, he tried to off himself by wolfing down 60 pills. Giving us all a heart attack. They fed him charcoal, like to flush the system out. I was like, they were just shoving it down his throat like there was no tomorrow.
I didn't know there was a charcoal pill, but I'm putting it on my shopping list.
Hey, if it was good enough for Chauncey and his kidneys, it's probably good enough for you and your Coors Light headache. On the KQ Talking text line, 651-989-ROCK. A lot of suggestions. Pedialyte is one. That's a...
No. Okay, that makes me angry. Pedialyte makes me angry. Sorry, have you guys tried Pedialyte?
No, I've never tried it.
It's the worst. Try it today.
Is it like the sugar-free vitamin water? Just makes you want to throw up as soon as you taste it?
It is. It tastes like it's already been drank once.
Ooh. Well, it's for kids.
Exactly. Why would you do that to your kid? But whatever, because I guess they can't protest because they're too young. And my mom gave me some nasty-ass cough syrup or something, I remember.
It must have some validity to it. We're like on campus. So if you go to any convenience store on campus Monday morning, the Pedialyte shelves are cleared. There's just a big empty spot where the Pedialyte is supposed to go.
Now I wonder if I'm thinking of the right stuff. I remember, I had something, what it was. I don't know if you have to get... What it was, I had to go in for something medical, and they're like, flush or drink this stuff. I think it was Pedialyte, and it was just the nastiest stuff.
I've never sipped it. I've seen that, but that's funny that the shelves are clear every Monday on campus. That's pretty fantastic.
Well,
I'm looking up activated charcoal right here.
Yeah.
A fine odorless black powder often used in emergency rooms to treat overdoses.
Oh.
Wow! But you can get
over the counter.
Yeah, you can get it over the counter in tablet form. So here's what it says. It does. It reduces absorption of substances in the stomach and intestines. So, that makes sense.
All right.
All right, fair enough. Tony, who else we got on the horn?
A couple good routes to take. First, Fred from South Dakota, and then Cassandra from Chanhassen.
Fred, lay it on us, brother.
Yeah, real quick. It's a V8, a shot of vodka, and the coldest 6-ounce beer you could find with ELO and a little toke. You'll be fine.
South Dakota showed up this morning. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Where are you from, man?
I'm originally from Brooklyn, but I'm hanging out in South Dakota listening to you guys. You guys crack me up. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We were talking about how to cure a hangover, and I think you just told us how to get one.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's, brother, preach it from the mountaintops, and I can only assume that your car broke down in South Dakota, and you're trying to work your way out of there, but good for you, my man. That's where I'm from.
Just having a ball. It's nice out here. Just drinking and having a ball.
Yeah.
Life is good.
Right on.
A little ELO, don't
Have
forget
a beautiful day, cats.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
He does not sound like he's from South Dakota.
A lot of texts saying activated charcoal is the way to go. Wally wrote, activated charcoal is a miracle. They work awesome for an upset stomach, but this is an item where you get what you pay for. Spend a little more. Don't buy the cheap stuff. And then it says, don't take it within an hour of taking other meds because it legitimately will flush everything out.
Weird.
So if you're taking other medicine, it'll deactivate. It'll flush it out before
Unless
you have
it's
a chance
time to flush everything out.
All right,
Okay,
Dr.
gotcha.
Wally has weighed in. Who else did you say is on the horn?
Cassandra.
Cassandra, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're great. What do you got for us?
Well, to cure a hangover, you got to have a hot bowl of Mexican soup, menudo. It's made with beef tripe, hominy. You do it with corn tortillas, onion, cilantro. It's got an authentic chili powder in it, and then a shot of tequila, and you're ready to go.
Muy bien.
Cassandra, I'll just give you a blank check if you bring some over right now. That sounded amazing.
Yeah.
It is awesome. Oh my gosh! I grew up on it. I guess a lot of Hispanic people have grown up on it. Some people don't find it the best, but we absolutely love it. And for a hangover, that's the best cure.
Wow, fair enough, Cassandra. Thank you for that. Now I'm hungrier than I already was. That sounds great.
If I wasn't in Minnesota, I definitely would bring you some.
All right. Fair enough. This text just in, Pedialyte is good, but breast milk is better. Okay. Good to know.
Okay.
Good to know.
If I just had someone on the hook with a boob full,
a
next
question
time
for
I'm
you.
hungover.
A question for you, Zepp, on the text line. Zepp, how many times have you or your Army buddies shown up hungover for PT formation and had a medic give you an IV?
No, I did not. But I did do the IV treatment one time. We were in Vegas, and there was a place down in the hotel lobby where we were staying. I forget which hotel we were at that year, but they had the hangover cure thing downstairs. You'd go down and you'd get hooked up. I don't know if it helped or not because I actually started drinking again while the needle was in my arm. And I'm pretty sure I was drunk when I went down to do this with Terry Train. But anyway, I never had a medic that was that kind to me. I did wake up in formation one day in my cot. They carried it outside and I woke up out there, and that was embarrassing. And but no, that's a good one. Yeah, no, I didn't have the hookup back then. That's a good one. I like it.
This in on the text line. Stick your head under the faucet and drink until you can't swallow anymore. Go to bed.
Hell? That's called waterboarding.
Get up to pee and then repeat drinking water until you can't swallow. You will not have a hangover in the morning because you'll be dead.
Yes.
So you have to get up to pee.
You drowned yourself in the sink.
Ooh, man. I have a friend who would open a can of peas and drink the juice. Worked every time for her.
Pea juice.
Pea juice. What?
Man,
worth a try, I guess.
Let's see. What do we got? Hangover cure. Hangover cure. Just got back from Las Vegas. Denny's on Fremont Street. 2 Bloody Marys with your breakfast. You're good to go. Then start over again. Yeah, everyone.
Done.
There's a whole lot of how do we get back on the horse into a lot of these.
No, Fred got it. Was that Fred in South Dakota by way of Brooklyn? Was that his name? I forget. Yeah, I like that. A toke, shot, and some ELO, and you're on your way.
Yeah.
Someone said, wrong, guys. I got a Pedialyte at Target last night. Blue raspberry. Tell Zepp it's good. Does the trick. There was a full supply at Target last night.
Okay. All right.
Someone said...
I'm going with the charcoal tabs.
Someone said, Zepp, you're talking about Go Lightly, not Pedialyte.
Oh,
Go Lightly is what you have before a colonoscopy.
Yeah, that was it. That was the medical procedure.
Yeah, that's foul tasting.
Yeah, that's nasty. All right, well, Go Light, Pedialyte.
But the good thing about the Go Light is they only ask you to drink a gallon.
Yeah, right. God. That's right. That's what it was. Thanks for the heads up. All right. I went hard on Pedialyte. Sorry about that, Pedialyte.
That's right. Yeah, I was surprised. Not that I had not that I'm connected to Pedialyte in any way, but I just thought I would have heard that it's awful before.
And
now.
it's
kind of like Gatorade for kids.
But I did say I mentioned this vitamin water. Remember when that hit the scene the first time? There was there's the dragon berry or dragon fruit and different flavors, and it was so good. And one day someone handed me one, and it said sugar free. And if you ever want to know how much sugar is in vitamin water, drink the sugar-free.
Yeah,
because I almost threw up. One sip, I was like, what is this? I mean, I looked at the vitamin water. I was like, 9,000 calories. Okay, good. So this really isn't good for me.
Yeah, that's 35 grams of sugar.
It was crazy amounts of sugar. I was like, well, that explains why I love this so much.
Right. I recently got my favorite chips, my favorite kettle-cooked chips, salt-free. I'm like, all right, we're going to watch the sodium, I'm told. I read that somewhere. Heard that on the KQ Morning Show. I've got to watch my sodium intake. And I ate about 3 chips and went, the salt. Yeah. That's why I eat them.
I for the first time ever, my yearly checkup this year, the guy said, what's your sodium levels? Just like, what happened? Like, it's never been high. And all of a sudden it was really high. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just... because I'm not eating any more. So I don't have a sweet tooth. I have a salt tooth.
Yeah.
You know, like when I finish a big meal, I'm like, you know what would top this off perfectly? Just some potato chips. maybe a couple of Fritos. It's like I'm just always looking for salt. It's ridiculous.
Aperitif.
Yeah, like I used to say dessert for me was always just more of the main.
Yeah, right.
No,
just about thirds.
Would you? Who's ready for pie? I'd actually just have more chili. That was always me. And at some point, man, it's just too much salt. Apparently, here's a hangover cure on the text line: can of Coca-Cola and saltine crackers. Been there, done that, and yeah, saltines are an absolute staple of my hangover cure.
Supposed to be absorbed.
Yeah, that's what I imagine them doing that. I pretend they are. I think I convince myself it is working. This is helping because
the power of the mind.
I'll do a whole sleeve of saltines.
Nabisco's sponge.
I'll just sit there. I'll sit there and I'll watch. I'll put on like some, Suits. Just one of those dumb shows where you're like, I don't care what happens, but I'll just watch people talk about anything, but they're doing something and they seem to think it matters, and I'm not going to remember, but I'm just going to slowly and I eat saltines like I've just nibbled, so it's like just constant source, just not big bites, just little pieces, and it just goes, just one after the other.
You're so noisy. I don't know. Yeah, I think that would bother me watching you do that.
It would bother me having you watch me do that. This is called me time.
Okay.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
Happy 4th of July. Thanks for listening to the Best of the KQ Morning Show podcast, sponsored by Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies. We'll be back with fresh episodes on Monday, July 8th.
The best of the KQ Morning Show.
Henry Winkler, we had him on the show last year, the Fonz.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Good
Super
guy.
sweet. Wonderful dude. For the second time in recent memory, he has popped up on the news in the United Kingdom. Not because they're doing a story about him necessarily, but because two different things have happened where a BBC reporter is like, let's go to the man on the street. And they just go, excuse me, sir, do you have a moment for the BBC? And twice in the last month, it's been Henry Winkler.
It's Winkler.
The more recent one, he was in Dublin, and there was a fire at a hotel, a historic hotel in Ireland. Henry Winkler, of all people, happened to be a guest in that hotel, and like everyone else, he was evacuated from the building onto the sidewalk.
When I heard the fire alarm, I thought it was the clock radio. I thought somebody had set the alarm before we got there, like another guest. And finally, I went into another room, and it was still buzzing. So I called downstairs, and the woman said in a very calm voice, yes, we're all evacuating. You must evacuate right now. And I left. Firemen are some of my favorite human beings. Firemen and firewomen. They run in when other people are running out.
You know, that news guy's like, hey, this is a good one. We got a good one. This is a keeper. This guy did very well on camera. Yep. I don't even think we have to edit this. We got a winner here.
And then at some point, someone goes, dude, that was the Fonz. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
The what?
And if you're wondering if they know about the Fonz in the United Kingdom, I can assure you they do. And I've witnessed this in person. My friends from a Welsh band called Stereophonics in 2003 were in Los Angeles mixing their fourth album. Now, this is a band that later that year I ended up going on the road with for a while. But months before any of that happened, they were just in L.A. having their album mixed. And I went by the session one day just to listen to some of the new songs and see how it was going. And a friend of mine I had made in Los Angeles, a kid named Jed, he's Henry Winkler's son. Now, I knew that, but I'd never met Henry. I'd never figured it would turn into, we're adults. I'm like, hey, can I meet your dad? I mean, it wasn't like, this is in 2003. It's just one of those things. I'm like, oh, cool, your dad's the Fonz. That must be cool. We take a couple anecdotes and you move on with getting to know a dude. Mm-hmm. Well, I mentioned to him, we were talking, and I said, I'm going to go by Ocean Way, and the Stereophonics are in town mixing. And he goes, man, I love Stereophonics. I'm going to be I'm going to be right near there. Dude, could I come by and just say hi? And I said, sure, that's fine. They're totally laid back dudes. I'm sure they'd be happy to, just call me. Let's figure it out. A couple hours later, I'm at the studio. I'm in the room. It's me and a couple of the guys from the band and the dude who's mixing the record. And Jed calls. He goes, hey, man, I'm outside. I said, cool. And I go to open the door to let him in the studio, and he's standing there with his dad, the Fonz, which I didn't have any idea was happening. But I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, hey, how are you? And he goes, this is Henry, Steve Gorman. He goes, hey, it's so nice to meet you, Steve. Nicest guy in the world. And I'm just like, it is a pleasure to meet you, Henry. Come on in. And I'm thinking, and Jed goes, yeah, we were working on something, and he just thought he'd come with me. I'm like, well, the Fonz goes where the Fonz wants to go.
That's right.
But I remember thinking to myself, these guys won't even really know who he is. Right. Like, this will be nice for Henry because he goes somewhere and he's finally anonymous. Because in my dumb mind, I'm like, well, okay, they're all 10 years younger than me, and they grew up in a very tiny village in Wales, and they probably don't know Happy Days because that guy, I opened the door to the mixing room, and I saw two Welsh guys look up, and it might as well have been Elvis Presley reincarnated walked in. They both soiled themselves at the sight of Henry Winkler. And I said, hey, Kelly Richards, this is my friend Jed and his dad, Henry. And they literally, neither one of them acknowledged Jed.
Yeah. Right.
They were staring at Henry, and Kelly stood up, and he literally goes, I'm about to shake the effing Fonz's hand. He could, as it happened, he put his hand out. Yeah. And Henry goes, yeah, shake away, like laughing about it. And they were beside themselves at a level like you've never seen. Oh. They've never been like that with a rock guy, I guarantee it. But it was like, and then, they just lost their minds. And I said later, I was like, so you guys grew up with Happy Days? They looked at me like I'm insane. They're like, it's Happy Days. He's the Fonz. I'm like, yeah, but you were like 3 when that show started, and you were in Wales. But it just speaks to how ginormous Happy Days was around the world.
And I'm sure he knows it, which is all the weirder that he gets keep getting stopped as a man on the street by reporters in England. I think this one was in England. Doesn't recognize it's Henry Winkler and starts asking him questions about, I don't know, some sort of legislation or noise ordinance.
Hello. I was going to ask you a question. Are you a voter? You are?
I'm not.
Are you not?
Well, I'm a voter in America.
But in America, I just wondered whether you were a resident here or not. Of course, I recognise you, but we're
I'm just
from the
doing
BBC.
The pantomime.
Oh, of course you are. Fantastic.
Richmond.
How's it going? When do you start?
Is it great? We started. We end the 12th of January.
So are you living here temporarily?
Yeah, I am. Hard to commute.
Yeah.
When you do 2 shows a day.
You can't. Very hard. It's exhausting enough as it is.
I will say, we are as funny in January as we are in December.
Do you have a view on, there's a plan out today to potentially expand Heathrow, stick another runway there.
Now, let me ask you a question. Would that bring more people to the economy?
It will bring more people to the economy, but more noise potentially to a place like this.
To Richmond.
Yeah.
Richmond is a lovely place. I watch the planes go every day. I hear nothing.
You're relaxed.
I am.
It's so great.
Stay on topic.
Like the reporter afterwards says, I knew he was someone immediately when I started talking. I knew he was someone, but I couldn't quite place this chap.
Well, now, would that bring more people to the... I mean, it's just so funny.
He's so sincere about it, too.
Most earnest guy in the world.
Oh, okay, expanding Heathrow. Well, let me actually get into this like the rest of us would be going, yeah, I know you don't know, but I got to motor along here.
There was a show years ago that was on the BBC, and then they did an Americanized version of it. It was called Little Britain. Did you ever catch that? BBC show Little Britain, then HBO did one, Little America. The same British actors did the same kind of show here. Little Britain was a great comedy. 2 men playing every character, just tons of these people from all over Britain, these bizarre characters. And there was one character... Hang on, this is going somewhere. One of the characters was from a little tiny Welsh village, and he was openly gay and dressed very flamboyantly. And every time they would show him, he's in the pub, and he was constantly trying to get everyone's attention by being so gay, and no one cared. It's like, hello, David, how's your beer? And then anytime anyone else came in who was also gay, his line was, "I'm the only gay in this village." He would take it very. He was like, "Get out of my corner." It was really funny, and I thought of that when I saw another Henry Winkler story recently. No need to go into all the details. Henry Winkler has had a legitimate beef, disagreement with one man in Hollywood. They do not like each other. They have been literally enemies for almost 40 years. Tom Hanks.
Yeah,
the 2 nicest guys in Hollywood literally dislike each other intently, apparently.
That's like Tom Hanks
I'm the nicest guy in the village. No, I'm the nicest guy in the village. It's so funny to me.
I was just trying to think of an analogy, and I realized the only analogy is that would be like Tom Hanks having a feud with Henry Winkler.
That's exactly what it is.
It's so
That's
crazy.
Exactly what it is. It makes no sense, and then it makes perfect sense.
What do you think would win in the fight? I'd go with Winkler. He seems scrappy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Hanks has a few years on him. I always allow for that. But you're right. Yeah, Henry Winkler, he's just too nice. I think Tom Hanks possesses the ability to be a dick occasionally if he wants to.
Oh, I'd say so.
I don't think Henry does. I just don't know if he does or not. That hasn't been. Or maybe he's just too over the top. I don't know. I'd love to. I would pay for that pay-per-view fight before I'd pay to see Tyson fight
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul.
Winkler probably knows Krav Maga.
You know what? You're
Right to the throat.
Right. Yeah, he's a great defensive martial art practitioner for sure.
He'd just be a kind of a dancer or a rope-a-doper, I think Hanks would be.
I'm going to be laying in bed tonight trying to go to sleep with images of Hanks and Winkler wrestling in my head like it's Christmas Eve.
The best of the KQ Morning Show.
You ever meet someone, and this is, by the way, this is a rhetorical question. You ever meet someone, hear their name, and then immediately forget about it? The answer is yes, everyone I've ever met.
Yeah, I'm about to experience that on a boat Friday.
I am so bad with names, and I have done all of the things people say to remember someone's name when you first meet them, and it escapes me. I mean, I don't know that I have ADHD or whatever, but I always have like 6 different thoughts going at once.
Yeah.
But I will claim ADHD if that gets me off the hook for never remembering someone's name. Yeah. I can remember the entire conversation. I'll remember exactly what we talked about. I'll remember something they mentioned. I'll remember what the person was wearing. I'll remember everything but the person's name. It is, and it's really, this is not just me trying to be, no, it really, I would do anything to change that. I hate when I have to ask, but I did finally at some point, 20 years ago, I finally just got over it and said, I'm sorry, tell me your name. I mean, I will just now ask.
Right.
Whereas I used to pretend I knew their name, and I'd say things like, there he is. Like,
hey, you,
Junior, big guy, senator.
Hey, this guy.
You know.
It's my old friend, you.
I have the thing with my wife, which we had to go over this. This goes back to the 90s. There were always somebody that I had met like the promo guy in Cleveland. And then the next time I'm in Cleveland, I'm like, yeah, we had a great time, but I don't remember this guy's name. And I would say to my wife, I say, if I introduce you, I say, this is my girlfriend or this is my wife, Rosemary.
Right.
If I don't immediately say their name, that means I don't remember, and I'm probably going to cough.
Yeah, that's the cue.
And I'll be like, I'll say, hey, have you met Rosemary? Sorry. And then she'll go up and, sorry, what's your name? And then the person goes, I'm Dave. And I'm like, yeah, Rosemary, Dave. I told you about Dave. And I'm like, oh, thank God.
Did you ever, on the way to an event like this, get into a little tiff with her and she left you hanging? Just because, there's the cough, you're not getting it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, just left you hanging.
Take a lozenge, honey.
I've been in relationships only because they would do something like that. They'd be like, okay, so my rule was if they come up and I don't introduce you right away, and they say, hey, Zep, how's it going? And I don't say, hey, so-and-so, this is so-and-so, that means I don't remember their name. And why don't you just jump in and say, and then, but yeah, I've been on dates where they wouldn't do that. And I'm like, this isn't going to work out.
Maybe because you made it a rule.
Yeah, I don't have many. I have that one, and anyway.
But rule number 1: save a drowning man. How hard is it?
Yeah, that's right. So, but you have some tips here because
4 steps they say.
4.
These are maybe 5. First, this isn't considered one of the steps, but they do recommend. First of all, you really got to focus. You got to hear what they say. So number 1 is repeat the name. When someone says, "Hey, I'm Steve," then you. Sorry, say that again. Or if it's an unusual name, it's really easy because you say, can you spell that for me? I can't imagine myself meeting someone and then saying, how do you spell that one? I mean, if they said their name was Hergitaby, okay, sure. I'm sorry, what? Hergitaby? Hergitaby? How do you say that? How do you spell that? What is that? Is that Hungarian? I get that.
Did you just make that name up?
I did. I don't even.
You don't even remember it now, do you?
I don't. Hergita. I said Hergita.
Spell
purgatory.
Purgatory.
Hergitaby. That's it. Hergitaby. If it's not something, but see, if it's someone like, if someone says Tammy, there's a bunch of different ways to spell Tammy.
Okay.
So that one, you can go, how do you spell that? Oh, I knew someone that was Tami. I knew someone, maybe. And maybe, but a few times, repeating the name a couple times when, Dave, okay, you're Dave. Oh, good to meet you, Dave. Right on, Dave. I mean, I guess that helps, but I don't know that I could ever say that without looking like I'm trying to make sure I remember the name. But again, that's fine. Why would that stop me from doing it? I'm trying to remember your name, you would think, but I would still hold myself back from repeating their name several times. I should just get over it. How about this? Number 2, it says think of someone else with the same name. It could be a celebrity or just someone you knew in high school. If you link the name with somebody who's already a part of your long-term memory, it helps you to remember it.
What if you use their TV name? You're like, good to see you again, Gilligan. Bob. Yeah, that's right.
Ooh, I see that.
I feel like there would just be these long pauses after, hey, I'm Steve. Everything all right? Hold on, I'm trying to memorize your name. Hold on, so it's Steve. All right, doing a word association.
Hi, I'm Steve. I immediately think of a car with its roof smashed off from bullets starring Steve McQueen. I'll never forget it. That's not how it works.
You're fastback. No, wait, that's not
happen.
It.
Number 3, think of something it rhymes with. So you shouldn't always choose the
Tony
first.
Baloney.
Don't always choose the first rhyme that pops in your head. The crazier the rhyme is, the better your chances of remembering it. So actually, that's a good one, Tony Baloney.
What rhymes with Herkadaby?
Herkadaby is Smirkadaby. Herkadaby, Smirkadaby.
Purgatory.
Purgatory. I feel like I'm in purgatory having a conversation with you. Purgatory.
Say my name.
Here's what I do on like say, for instance, the karaoke cruise tomorrow night.
Right.
We'll be out there. I just say Scott for men and Lisa for women, and I'm right half the time. That's it. Just Lisa. No?
Oh man.
The sister. No?
No, it's funny. I do, like I said, I remember faces and I remember things that we talk about, but the name is tricky. And again, ahead of the cruise tomorrow night, and I'm just gonna ask, hey, tell me your name again. Sorry, just get used to it, because man, that's but eventually it sticks.
Yeah.
But like Johnny, the bassist in the Black Crowes, when we first started the band, he was and he would be the first to tell you, he's total scatterbrain, can't keep a thought straight, linear doesn't work in his brain. That dude remembers everybody's name he ever met. It's one of those things I used to be so in awe of. I'd be like, hey, Johnny, who's this guy? He was here last time we played. You're in Seattle for the second time ever, and he'd be like, that's Mike and Corey and Hergadaby. And I'd be like, how in the world do you remember these names?
He will have 1,000 people at his funeral for 2 reasons. You're in awe. That he's just great to hang out with because he knows their name.
Yeah.
And then if you know someone's name, like every once in a while I've just guessed. I'll be like, Dan, it's been a year, man. You meet a lot of people. That's really cool. You remember my name. So people love to have their name remembered.
I remember that. I get away with that though because again they're offended that I don't remember their name, but then I will say, but you have your Uncle Charlie threw that 300 in Toledo, and they'll be like, oh my God, like that's the thing. I remember the bizarre thing we talked about, everything but the most important part of the conversation, which is the person's name.
I just buy him a drink. It costs me a lot of money.
I remember one time I met a woman. She was working with the record company, doing something great. We had a really nice chat, and she was wonderful, really. And I probably saw her a year later. She was like, "Hey," and I go, "Hey, what's going on?" And I said, "You still dating Dave?" And she was like, "No, we broke up." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then later in the conversation, she goes, "You don't remember my name, do you?" And I go, "No." She goes, "You remembered I had a guy named Dave, but you don't remember my name." It was this whole thing, and I was like, "Yeah, sorry, sorry." It's just the things you remember.
Hey, it's not personal.
Yeah, you had a crush on Mr. Green Jeans as a child. I remember we were drunk. You admitted it. She's like, "Oh my God." But you don't know my name. Hey, whatever.
What's your face?
These things happen.
Yeah.
Well, so anyway, remind yourself. Repeat the name. Think of someone else with the same name. Think of something that rhymes with. Find something unusual about the person is number 4. If his name is Fred and he has big ears, remember him as Big Ear Fred. And it
don't
says,
spit that out, though.
This sounds ridiculous. It might even be mean, but it gives you that extra mental trigger so you'll remember the Fred part. I've seen a thing where a guy took a deck of cards and he peeled over every card and then remembered all 52 in order. And because he would attach something to each thing and somehow pull that out, and I look at that and just go, stop, forget it.
Want to go play some blackjack at one of the casinos with me?
I also saw something recently that said if you take a deck of cards and you shuffle it, and then lay them out in order, that order of cards has never been dealt before.
I think I read something.
The number, 52 cards, the likelihood that anybody could ever possibly shuffle them in the same order is beyond grains of sand in the universe. It's in the hundreds of numbers in a number, one in however many chances. It's really astonishing, like beyond what you can even possibly process number-wise. That just, I was like, really? Huh. And then I'm still trying to figure out how you did one little tiny card trick.
Right, exactly. How did you know it was the 3 of clubs?
I saw, and again, speaking of card trick, I thought that because I just saw a guy on Instagram, and he showed a pretty basic kind of card trick and showed how it was done. And I was happy to know, but then I was kind of just bummed out because I'm like, I don't want to know that you actually just lied.
It's a trick.
Yeah,
he tricked you.
I like the David Blaine thing where the card is somehow in an orange that's never been peeled.
Right.
I don't like it. I don't like that I just turned it upside down on the deck when you weren't looking. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
Give me something a little better than that.
No, you didn't pay. If you didn't pay for the ticket, you're just going to get a bar trick.
I guess not. I would have been happy with I would have been happy to keep the mystery alive. Like the mystery that is, I'm sorry, your name again, sir? It's just what it is. I have to accept it.
Brian.
I'm never going to figure it out. At this point, look, I'm going to be 59 in August. Is it too old to truly learn how to remember names?
Well, no. I mean, if you apply yourself, it's too old to apply to want to care about remembering someone's name, probably. Of course, you have the capacity to learn it, but do you want to anymore?
Yeah, I'm trying to get less information in my brain. Like, you know what I mean? Like
unclutter.
I think if let's assume if I'm lucky, I'm 2/3 of the way through. The first third is you're just kind of like, it's cool. And then the second third, you focus and you make sense of it and you figure out your way in the world.
Climb the mountain.
And then the third is like just less.
Yeah.
Just less.
Leave me alone.
I need less information.
I'm busy tonight.
Just need more drinking songs and less names. That's what I need. That's what's going to make me happy here.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
Happy 4th of July. Thanks for listening to the Best of the KQ Morning Show podcast, sponsored by Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies. We'll be back with fresh episodes on Monday, July 8th.
The best of the KQ Morning Show.
Yeah, let's toast it up. It's just pure fun. Of course, you want to start out your Monday with a hearty breakfast. It's time again for Beat the Toaster. Here's what we do. We pop a slice of bread into the toaster right here in the studio. We're going to give you a category. Then you name as many things that pop into your pretty little head as possible in 15 seconds before the toast pops and win.
Hell yeah. Sounds good to me. Let's get to it. Who is contestant number one?
Number one, we're going to start out with our buddy Richard from St. Louis Park.
Good morning, Richard.
Good morning.
Are you a fan of toast?
I like toast.
Attaboy.
Had to think
Okay,
about
what about rocking out on a boat listening to music from the 80s? Is that something you like as well?
Don't like it at all. I gotta love it.
Yeah. You are in the right place, my man. He loves the 80s. He's a fan of toast. Let's do it. I wish you all the best, Richard.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Ricky, here's your first category. You got 15 seconds before the toast pops. Tell me some attractions that you might find at the circus. Go.
The big top, elephant, lion, high wire, trapeze, the announcer, the cannonball, human cannonball, candy nut, cotton candy.
Yeah, I like the human. Yeah, okay, bud. Well played. He's still on a roll. The human cannonball, very well. That was my first thought. I'm glad you pulled that one out. I got big top elephant line.
It's on the bucket list.
There you go.
I got
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 it is. Richard, that is a strong open with a 7. Well played, sir. That's it's tough to get going this early in the morning, but you have stepped in and you came out swinging. Well played. Richard, we're going to put you on hold for a second. It's time to move on to contestant number 2 for their first round. Who we got, Tony?
The toast battle heads to Roxy, in Savage.
Roxy, good morning.
Roxy, hi.
How you doing, Roxy?
Pretty good. We'll find out.
Are you a fan of toast and or 80s music?
I love both. Let's go. I love both.
Girl.
Yeah.
Roxy is ready. Let's do it, Roxy. Good luck.
Foxy Roxy.
Okay, thank you.
Here's your category. You're at a house party. You're at a house party. You're going to use the bathroom, and you're snooping around. What are some things you might find in their medicine cabinet? Go.
Okay, you will find Oxycontin, you will find aspirin, you'll find condoms, you'll find Tampax, you will find lipstick, you will find cotton balls, antiseptic, toothbrush, toothpaste, needles, pins, Band-Aids. You will
Ding, toast has popped.
Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 11.
I got 11. Roxy was on fire.
Don't let Roxy loose in the bathroom. She's going to go through your stuff. Well played.
If you have it there, I will find it.
What?
Have what?
If you have it there, she will find it.
I'll find it. I'm going to find every bit of it.
Man, I mean, that was OxyContin, aspirin, condoms, tampons, lipstick, cotton ball. It was just awesome.
Time, yeah.
Man, I tell you what.
Scavenger hunt.
I want to party with you, cowboy. All right, Roxy. I think 11 is about as big a first round as we've ever had. Very well played. All right. Gear, take a second, take a deep breath. Round 2, usually a little bit tougher. We're going to go back to Richard now. Richard, Roxy's not playing games today, boy. She's playing for keeps. So you need to step up big for round 2. Are you ready, brother?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I think you're up to the task. Here you go, Rich. Present some original theories of your own of what may have caused the demise of the dinosaurs. Go.
Flatlands, drought, fire, too many birds, basketball players, football players,
what?
No grass. There we go.
Okay.
Controversial theories.
Very controversial. How many did we get there? What is that? Was that another 7? Was it 6? What did you get, Tony?
Oh, God, I thought I had 6, but are we deducting the basketball and football players from the demise of the dinosaurs?
Yeah, and why would we?
But it's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you said concoct a theory.
Original theories, yeah.
Yeah, if you look at some of those cave drawings.
Yeah.
All right, I think I got 7.
All right, that's some esoteric thinking.
That is some esoteric thinking, and that's a grand total of 14, Richard, which is not a bad effort at all. I'm at some point I'm gonna. I know that I will wake up in the middle of the night and go, "How did those basketball players kill the dinosaurs?" But that's my cross to bear. Richard, well played. Sit tight. Let's see what happens in round 2 for Roxy. Roxy with the big 11 in round 1 needs 3 to tie. 4 is going to put you on that boat. Best of luck.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, Rox, get some stretching in. Here's what happened. You meet a giant who was self-conscious about his height. What statements might you say to him to make him feel less awkward about his anxiety over being so tall? Go.
Come here, baby. Let me give you a kiss. Let me stand on this rock, and then I'll look you right in the eye. Why don't you have a seat? Sit down. You are so handsome. The ears are wonderful. Your lips are fantastic. I love a big guy who can take care of me. You've got nothing to worry about. We've got this. You're tall. I'm short. I can be tall. You can be short.
Wow. Yeah, Roxy.
You make me want to be your giant.
I tell you what, man.
She was selling it.
Yeah, very, very much so. That is a giant who's feeling much better about his place in the world right now after a minute or two with Roxy. Absolutely, he should.
I'm sure we could get him on the boat, though. Keep that in mind, please.
That's very true.
Yes.
Left a duck.
Roxy, you, my dear, have just picked up a couple tickets to the boat. Man,
awesome.
Roxy came in just on fire in round 1 and continued through round 2. Richard, most days 14's enough to win, but I'm sorry, you just had Roxy, just on throwing an absolute heater, as they say. So thank you for calling in, Richard. We appreciate the effort. Roxy, we're going to see you at the end of July on the boat. Congratulations.
And you'll know me.
What's that?
And you will know me.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't doubt that for a second.
Absolutely. I'm so excited.
And hey, feel free to dress in your best 80s gear as well. Just deck it out like a... Yeah. Well, I
got my platforms out. It's good. I got this.
Oh, yeah, you got it, Roxy. Very well played. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Man. That's as strong as it gets. If you're in need of a pep talk, Roxy's your girl.
Yeah.
I think we're going to know her immediately.
The best of the KQ Morning Show.
Alarm clocks. I use my phone. That's my alarm. I set it. I rarely hear it because my alarm is called Chauncey. And around 3:30, 3:45 most mornings, he starts hacking up like my old Uncle Henry. Chauncey sounds like an elderly gentleman with emphysema. That's just what he does. And so I usually wake up to the sound of him going, ha, ha, ha. And then as he's walking away from the bed, thankfully he gets off the bed before he starts this. And then he's like, then he looks back like, are we doing this? And then I'm like, I guess I'm up. And that's how it goes. However, on the rare occasion that he doesn't do that, my alarm goes off, and it's just some very nice cascading boogly doogly doogly hoogly hoogly hoogly. It's one of those, and it's very calming. It doesn't actually jolt me out of bed like I used to use as a kid. I used to have just a buzzer sound, and it was required because nothing could wake me up when I was younger. But now, as an old man, these things, it just gets a little easier in the morning. We all have alarms that we all have a phone. Most of us have a smartphone with a million options. There's one alarm that is hands down, apparently, the most hated alarm sound in the iPhone catalog. And I'm surprised to hear this because I've always been partial. Are you familiar with By the Seaside? Yeah.
Oh, God, that's my mom's ring.
Yeah. Just angry.
That's it. Everybody, this is the most despised alarm. That is the actual ringtone in my phone for when my daughter calls my phone. I set that years ago. I mean, when she first got her phone 10 years ago or 12 years ago, that's what I set as her ringtone. And recently, for the first time, she was actually she was made aware. She called me. I said, I can't find my phone, call it. And she did. And when she heard that was her ringtone on my phone, she was furious.
Yeah, why would she be? That's the ringtone I give to my exes in case they call. And then I let them know that's the ringtone. Because who would want to be associated with this ringtone? By the way, this By the Seaside iPhone ringtone is available on YouTube, the 8-hour version.
Nice.
Oh, only 8 hours?
Sleep. Yeah.
I was going to say, what if that was your sleep? What if that got you to sleep, and then when it ends, that was what your alarm? That's what wakes you up. That would work.
Yeah.
It does. It's funny. Someone did say that song mocks me. It's like a horror movie where the nursery rhyme happens right before doom.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I like that one. I also saw somebody said they tried to use the people sometimes will put on like a favorite song to wake up to, but that'll just ruin the song for you. I mean, that's like, there's nothing that's going to make you hate a song more than it being the first thing you hear every morning. So, yeah, that wouldn't be any good for me. I love the idea that there was. Oh wait. I was going to say one more thing. There's a ringtone in there. I don't know what it's called because I can't find it. But I have assigned it to a handful of people in my life that I never want to talk to, and it's like an alien sound. It's like it's one of those weird ones. And anytime I hear that from my phone, I don't even look because it's like, well, whoever it is, I'm not answering regardless.
They have a block feature.
Well, that's what I hear, but I don't want them to know they're blocked. See, it's like, that's I'm not ready to make that kind of a commitment.
All right.
I'm just damn sure not going to answer the phone when they call.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
Happy 4th of July. Thanks for listening to the Best of the KQ Morning Show podcast, sponsored by Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies. We'll be back with fresh episodes on Monday, July 8th.
The best of the KQ Morning Show.
Real quick follow-up to Lyle Lovett, Julia Roberts.
Yes.
Yes.
So
yes,
I'm going to make this real short, but here's the point. 1989... No, I'm sorry. Fall of 88, Mystic Pizza hits theaters. Julia Roberts, not her first movie, but the first movie she made that anybody saw.
Yeah.
Because her first movie was called Satisfaction with Liam Neeson. She was the bass player in a rock band led by Justine Bateman.
Justine Bateman, that's right.
Terrible movie.
Oh, so bad.
Which I saw later on cable and was like, oh my God. But her second film, Mystic Pizza, blew up. It was a big hit. I went on a date to see Mystic Pizza with a girl that I had met and completely forgot ever having met. And she showed up at my workplace to say, are we going to go? And I was like, I'm sorry, who are you? And the night before, I drunkenly asked her out. I had no recollection. So it was just destined not to last. But we went to see this movie, and after the movie, I ended up at my buddy's apartment, and I said, I just saw a movie called Mystic Pizza. I go, well, the girl's kind of hot, man, like kind of cool.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, wait, that's Eric Roberts' sister. And I was like, wait, really? Because Eric Roberts was already kind of a made man, Pope of Greenwich Village and stuff. He was cool.
The Dottie story? Or
Star 80.
Star 80, exactly. And so we're sitting around this apartment late at night. It's Thanksgiving week of 88. And then he goes, yeah, there's an article about her in the paper. And I read about it. I'm like, yeah, that's the girl I just saw. And then after 3 or 4 more moments of drinking bourbon, I decide, you know what, I'm going to call her and ask her out.
Yeah.
So I look to the phone book, and I look up a bunch of Roberts in Smyrna, Georgia. There's like 100 of them, and the third one I call, it's her house. And I'm like, hey, can I speak to Julia? Drunk and thinking it's funny. She's not in. Can I take a message? Yeah, tell her Steve called. Okay. I'm like, all right, I'm in. And then don't really think much about it. Don't think much about it. And then nothing happens. A month later, it's around the Christmas holidays. I'm at Mac's house again. He goes, did you ever get your date? I go, oh, I forgot. We're drinking again, obviously. I find the phone book, call the number again, leave a message. Hey, is Julia there? Nothing. She's out. She'll call you back, Steve. Tell her Steve called, and nothing. And then a couple weeks pass. I'm at work at my record store, and I'm telling the girls I work with, I'm like, well, I've been this is funny and weird, but when I'm at Mac's, every time I'm over there, we call Julia Roberts. And they're like, oh, well, man, that's great. You should. And I said, I got a gig. I want to invite her to come see the band. And my friend Kelly's like, well, let's just call her now. You keep calling her late at night. Call her now. You're sober. The store's not open. If you're going to talk to her. And I was like, you're right. I get talked into this.
Nice.
And I mean, talked into this by Kelly and Sarah, the 2 girls I work with. I'm like, well, if they think it's cool, it's not that weird and creepy. I call the number. Can I speak with Julia? Yep, hang on. I'm like, oh, here we go. And of course, Kelly's on the extension. She goes, hello. I said, hey, Julia, it's Steve. She goes, Steve who? I go, oh, we don't know each other. She's like, okay. And I'm on the phone with her for almost 30 minutes. Just the charm offensive was just, I'm killing it. I'm inviting her. I said, you're a hot star now. I hear you're making this Steel Magnolias next. You got a whole thing going on. You're back home. You come back from LA. It's probably a little slow, a little boring. I know how it is. You're stuck at your mom's house. Why don't you come out and see a good band tomorrow night? Playing at the Cotton Club. She's like, you're calling me at my mom's house to invite me to your band. I go, I didn't know how else to get a hold of you. And she's laughing and laughing and laughing. And then she threw out she said, well, this is very intriguing, which I later learned is a nice way to say no. But it went really well. And she goes, well, so is my boyfriend allowed? I said, bring him. I said, I'm sure Myron's a great guy.
Son of a...
And she's laughing. She goes, his name's not Myron. I said, whatever. We have this really funny chat, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't show. A year later, the Steel Magnolias premiere comes out in Atlanta. They have a big party. And I weasel my way into this big black tie event, and I wear a suit, and I'm with my buddy who writes for the local free weekly rag. He got us passes, and we had made in the interim Shake Your Moneymaker, the first Black Crowes album. It wasn't released yet, but I had a cassette tape of it. And at the big party, I see her for 5 seconds. She comes walking as she's leaving, and I get in her way, and she's like, hey, and I'm like the only dude there with like long hair, looking good, feeling, she's like, hey, I go, hey. I said, hey, Julia, I called you last year. And she looks at me and goes, Steve. And I go, yeah. And she goes, hey, what's going on? I go, how you doing? And I said, I like the movie. And she was like, you did? I go, not really. And so she laughed at that.
Yeah.
And I said, Nate, I know you're busy. I just wanted to, I said, hey, my band that you didn't come see, still kind of, not over that. But anyway, we made a record. It's coming out in a couple months. I wanted to give you a copy. She goes, oh, great. Takes the cassette. And it wasn't an official cassette. It's one I made.
Sure.
Handwritten.
She goes, oh, thanks. And I said, the number's in there. You can give me a shout. And she laughed. She's like, okay. And then she's taken away by security. And so that's my date with Julia Roberts. That's so the story goes on, and it's really funny, and everyone's like, yeah. So my buddy JT is telling everybody in the Atlanta scene for like, oh, Steve and Julia Roberts, and everyone's like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, we have a thing. I don't want to, it's not that big a deal. And so I play it, but there's this moment when people think that I'm actually seeing this new movie star.
Yeah.
Steel Magnolias comes out. It's the biggest thing ever.
Huge.
The next summer, Pretty Woman hits, and then it's just over. I mean, she's like literally on another planet. That's it. That's the end of the story. Until she marries Lyle Lovett, and a few years later, then they are in Ireland, and a good buddy of mine, Brian, he's an MTV guy, a producer. He is in Dublin for some project, and he ends up at a bar, and there's a bunch of people there, and there's Lyle Lovett and Julie Roberts and a few other people that he's working with, and they're all having a drink and they're having fun. It's like 5 years since that Steel Magnolias party, and Brian at some point is sitting with Julie, and he goes, I hate to bug you, but I got to ask. I've got this funny story. He goes, a friend of mine is in a band. He's a drummer, and he's from Atlanta, really funny guy. And he called you at your mom's house once. And then, I think he saw you and gave you tape. And she goes, oh, my God, I totally remember that guy. His name's Steve, right? And he goes, yeah. And she goes, he was so funny. I mean, he really was. She goes, I've told that story. Yeah. I had the best time. She goes, I mean, I wasn't about to go see his band. It was kind of weird. But she goes, but then she goes, yeah, and I met him, and he gave me a tape. And she goes, and he goes, yeah, did you ever listen to it? She goes, no. I mean, and he goes, have you ever heard of the Black Crowes? She goes, oh, yeah, Atlanta. She goes, I love the Black Crowes. He goes, yeah, that's Steve. He's the drummer. Wow. And she's like, wait, what? And he goes, yeah, that tape he gave you was Shake Your Moneymaker. And she's like, I wore that record out in this whole thing. And she's like, yeah.
She had just popped it in the damn boombox because we know that she digs musicians.
Hard to handle. Starts with the drums. That's all it would have taken.
Oh, my God.
So when I say that I'm the one that got away, I mean it.
You're the one that got away.
I'm the guy that didn't get arrested for stalking. That's actually how I choose to look at it.
And obviously, if she married Lyle Lovett, I mean, this is not an insult, but you had to be thinking the same thing that every man in America that had a crush on Julia Roberts was thinking. Wait, Lyle Lovett?
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I've been saying for years. I've been saying for years, I'm pretty good looking for an ugly guy. and he's pretty ugly for a good looking guy. So somewhere in the middle, I could have made that happen.
Son of, she had just popped it in the boombox. A little curiosity. Come out to the show.
If she had popped it in the boombox, we might have been popping it into the boombox. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.